Okay, class. Today we're going to talk about 8.4, which is installment buying. Our learning objectives for this section are to find the amount financed, total installment price, and finance charge for a fixed installment loan. We're going to use a table to find the APR for a loan, compute unearned interest and payoff amount for a loan paid off early, compute credit card finance charges using the unpaid balance method. We're going to also compute credit card finance charges using the average daily balance method. Okay, with installment buying, basically it's when an item is purchased and the buyer pays for it, making periodic partial payments or installments. So with some of the everyday things that we think about that use installment loans will be a car note, maybe furniture payments, or actually maybe your house note if you're buying a house. A fixed installment loan is a loan that is repaid in equal payments. That basically means payments that are the same payment every time. Sometimes the buyer will pay part of the cost at the time of purchase. This is known as the down payment. So that's just like if you're going to a car lot to buy a car and you save your money to take something with you and pay up front, your down payment is what that money is called. But the best part about that is basically that a down payment, you don't have to pay any interest on it because it's money you're paying up front out of your pocket. So there are three equations that you see already here on the board that we're going to talk about when we're talking about fixed installment loans. We have the amount financed, which is the amount a borrower will pay interest on. So that equation is amount financed is equal to the price of the item minus the down payment. So the amount financed, remember, is the amount that you will borrow, and that's the amount you will pay interest on. Next, we have the total installment price, which is the total amount of money that the borrower will pay ultimately. So it means all the interest and all the money that you owe them, as well as your down payment, the entirety or totality of money that is spent on an item. So we have the total installment price. It's equal to the sum of payments plus the down payment. Now, there are two ways to find your sum of payments. That would be if they give you the amount you pay monthly and how many months you pay it. So you multiply the amount that you pay monthly times the months that you pay. The second way you can find the sum of payments is going to be basically taking the principal or the amount borrowed, or in this case, the amount financed, plus the finance charge or interest. The last component we have is going to be the finance charge, is the interest charge for borrowing the amount financed. So make sure you remember this. We can use this equation where finance charge is equal to the total installment price minus the price of the item, or if we have components in the problem that we are given, that we can actually use our interest equation. Finance charge is the same thing as interest. So here on our first example, it says Kat bought a 2-year-old Santa Fe for $12,260. Her down payment was $3,000, and she will have to pay $231.50 for 48 months. Find the amount financed, the total installment price, and the finance charge. Okay, so first what we need to do is identify what we have in our problem. So we have the price. Let me change markers, sorry. First, we have the price of the item, which is going to be $12,260. We have the down payment, which is $3,000. We have the payment amount, which is $231.50, and the time is going to be 48 months. So with everything that we're given, we're able to identify and plug in to our problem. So the first thing we're going to look for is amount financed, which is the price of the item minus the down payment. So we plug in $12,260 minus $3,000, and we get $9,260. So our amount financed is going to be $9,260. So next, we need to find our total installment price, which is going to be the sum of payments plus the down payment. In this case, our sum of payments is going to be the payment amount times the amount of months. So that's $231.50 times 48 for 48 months, and then we'll add that down payment of $3,000. Because remember, the total installment price is how much you'll spend in total for that item. $231.50 times 48 months. Our total is going to be $11,112, and then we still have to add our down payment of $3,000. So when added, we get $14,112. And the last thing that we have to actually find is going to be our finance charge. So our finance charge is our total installment price minus the price of the item. So we have TIP, $14,112, and we're going to subtract our price of our item, which is $12,260. And our finance charge is $1,852. So we have our amount financed, $9,260. Total installment price, $14,112. And lastly, our finance charge is $1,852. So everything that we saw for here is everything that is actually located on our PowerPoint. Okay, for our next example, it says, after a big promotion, a young couple bought $9,000 worth of furniture. The down payment was $1,000. The balance was financed for 3 years at 8% simple interest per year. We're going to find the amount financed, find the finance charge or interest, find the total installment price, and we're going to find the monthly payment. Okay, so first we just identify what's in the problem. So our price of our item, which is the furniture, is $9,000. Our down payment is $1,000. In this problem, they don't give us the payment, but they do give us a rate, and our rate is 8%, and that actually becomes 0.08. And our time is going to be 3 years, which is actually 36 months. So first, let's go ahead and find the amount financed, which is the price of the item minus the down payment. So we plug in, we have $9,000 minus $1,000. So our total is $8,000. Now make sure you remember that the amount financed is basically like our principal from previously. That means this amount, $8,000, is the amount that you have to borrow from a bank of some sort. So that is the amount the interest is going to be added to. Not the $1,000, because the $1,000 is the amount you're paying up front out of your own pocket. So next, let's find the finance charge. In this case, we can actually do interest. And that's because we have a rate, a time, and now a principal of how much we're going to borrow. So our finance charge in this case is going to be our I for interest is equal to PRT, where we have P being 8,000, R being 0.08, and T being 3. Because remember, when you're using your I equals PRT or simple interest or compound interest, you have to do it yearly. We have to do it yearly. So since we have 3 years, we multiply it by 3. So we have 8,000 times 0.08 times 3. And our finance charge is $1,920. So next we have to find our total installment price. So in this case, with finding our total installment price, we're going to do the sum of payments plus the down payment. Here we do not have payments and the amount of months that we pay. We do have months, but not an amount of a payment. So what we can do is take our principal, which is 8,000. That's the amount we're borrowing for our amount financed. Add our interest, which is our finance charge, which is 1,920. Excuse me, and then add our down payment of 1,000. So 8,000 plus 1,920 is 9,920 plus our down payment, which is 1,000. So we get 10,920 for our total installment price, everything that we pay at the end. So now at this point, we have our amount finance, finance charge, and our total installment price. The last thing we need to do is identify the monthly payments. Now please, let's remember, our down payment, we pay up front, so we pay no interest on it, and we pay it never again. So at this point, we're going to take the sum of payments, which is going to be our principal or amount finance, 8,000, plus our interest, 1,920, and we're going to get the 9,920, and that is how much we owe. So if we take 9,920 and divide it by 36 months, because we're going to have equal payments, and divide, our payments are going to be $275.56 per month for those 36 months. And that is how we do the entire problem. We have the amount financed being $8,000. We have the finance charge being 1,920. We have the total installment price being 10,920, and we have our monthly payments being $275.56. Okay, so next we're going to talk about APR. APR is annual percentage rate, and that is something you probably heard on different commercials on TV, possibly about buying a car or buying different items. But one place that you kind of see it more than none, or more often than none, is going to be credit card offers. So on these credit card offers, basically they tell you a rate and you're able to compare because of the annual percentage rate or even just the interest rate that you have to pay on the card itself. So lenders are required by law to disclose an annual percentage rate, or APR, that reflects the true interest charged. This allows customers to compare loans with different terms. So that means if you have 3 credit card offers and you're able to look at the APR and your actual interest rate or finance charge rate, then that means you can compare and see which one is the best one before you take or choose a specific credit card. So this chart that's up here shows a chart of the annual percentage rate. On this left column, these are the number of payments, meaning how many ever amount of payments you agreed to pay. 12 months, 48 months, 36 months, but that's in the left column. Across the top, we have the annual percentage rate. Within our chart is the amount of money that you are going to pay per $100. The finance charge paid per $100 of how much is owed on whatever you are buying, whether it be a credit card, car, or anything other than that. So we actually have an equation that we're going to add to the board, but we also have 3 steps that we're going to use in order to find APR. On step 1, we are going to take the formula finance charge divided by amount financed, and then we're going to multiply those numbers by $100, and that is how we are going to actually find our total to use our chart. So one thing that you need to make sure you notice is that we have to use our finance charge equation, and we have to use our amount finance equation to solve for this. Step 2, we're going to find the row in the table marked with the number of payments and move to the right until you find the amount closest to the number from step 1. And step 3, the APR is at the top of the corresponding columns. So this is the information you need to know about finance and finance charge to use this equation here. So let's do an example, and then that will conclude this portion. Okay, so our example says Bert Carter purchased a color laser printer for $600. He made a down payment of $50 and financed the rest for 2 years with a monthly payment of $24.75. So first we need to identify what we have. We have the price of the item, which is $600. We have the down payment, which is $50. We have the time, which is 2 years or 24 months. And lastly, we have the payment, which is going to be $24.75. So in order to find the APR, we have to have finance charge and the amount financed to do so. So let's find our amount financed. Amount financed is the price of the item minus the down payment. So we have 600 minus 50. So that means our amount to finance or borrow is $550. Next, we need to find our finance charge, but in order to do so, we need our total installment price. So let's find our total installment price, which is the sum of payments plus the down payment. Our sum of payment is going to be our payment amount times the months that it has to be paid. So that's $24.75 times 24 months, and then we'll add our down payment of $50. So we do $24.75 times 24, we get $594, and we still add our $50 for the down payment. So now we get $644 as far as for our total installment price. So now let's find our finance charge. The finance charge is going to be the total installment price minus the price of the item. Our total installment price is $644, and we subtract the price of the item, and we get $644 minus 600, which is $44. So now we can plug in this equation where we have finance charge being $44 divided by 550 times 100, and our answer is 8.00. So now that we have 8.00, we need to go to our finance charge, not finance charge, annual percentage rate chart, and we find the amount of months, which is 24 months, and we find the number that's closest or exactly 8, and they have 8 here, so our APR is going to be, go straight up, 7.5%. So on the next video, we'll start at unearned interest, but thus far, we finished the first part of 8.4. Thank you.